So, hey everyone, and welcome to the majestic Grand Canyon. Well, you wouldn't think that just looking at this photo, but in a few minutes' time, we're going to clean this up a bit and restore the majesty of the Grand Canyon for you. All right, everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Rich. I'm the channel host, and normally we're talking about drones and imaging technology, software, hardware that goes into all this, and building a small drone business. Over the past couple of months, I've been working on a new Lightroom class series, which I'll be announcing the release of in the very near future. And in that class, it's designed for drone pilots and regular photographers alike. So you don't have to be a drone operator to get something out of the Lightroom class. Now, what we're looking at right here is from a couple of years ago. I did a visit to the North Rim of the Grand Canyon. Absolutely gorgeous place and not as many tourists. And while I was there, I was popping off shots, sunset, sunrise, all times of day, and just enjoying the heck out of the location. A lot of the setups that I did, I set up for high dynamic range photography. So if I arrow over, we've got an underexposure, and then we've got an overexposure. So putting the three of these together in Lightroom, you can actually make a HDR merge here. And let's go ahead and do that really quick. So we're going to do a photo merge for an HDR. So this is one way to quickly pull together an image, and this does look a little better, but we're gonna approach this at another way. So sometimes people who are out and shooting and enjoying a place like the Grand Canyon won't remember to do bracketed shots for their photos to get an HDR like this, but we're gonna take it a little further from the HDR. And let's say that when you went out to this point and you were just enjoying the majesty of the area, you didn't have yourself set up for bracketed photos, but you did have your images set up as raw images. With that in mind, we can do a lot with this. Now, this is not a drone photo, by the way. This was shot back in 2010 before I ever had a drone. But when you're looking at the Grand Canyon, usually you're looking at a really bright sky, and then you're looking at the canyon in shadows. So if you failed to do a bracketed exposure, you're okay. Let's hit the develop module. So we're going to hit the D key here. And what we're going to do, number one, I'm going right over here. So let's take a look. I'm going to zoom you in and out when I can. We're going to be utilizing the new masking tool from Adobe for Lightroom. So I'm going to click on that masking tool. And we do have an option of add a new mask, but they're grayed out. See, this was an older catalog, an older Lightroom catalog, and shot years ago. And some updates have happened on Lightroom. One of the updates is selecting a color profile. So we could select landscape, or we could select, I'm going to go with vivid here. And the next step that I'm going to take now that I've selected one of the profiles, if I go back into that masking tool, sure enough, we've got to select a subject or select a sky. I'm going to select the sky here. And what we're going to do, we are now in the masking tool here. So you can see that little mask right there. And you can see the area where the sky is now masked. So with the sky being masked, we can do several things here. Number one, I'm going to drop the highlights. And we can actually pull those highlights back up. We're going to drop the highlights for a little more drama. We're also going to warm this just a little more, because as I recall, there was some warmth in the sky that day that I was taking this shot. So we have very quickly, very easily cleaned up the sky, added a little drama. We're going to create a second mask here. We're going to select the sky again, but we're not really selecting the sky. Under mask 2 here, we've got the little 3 dots right here, and we are going to invert this. So now that we've inverted the mask, it's covering all of the canyon in front of us, all that dark area that we couldn't see much detail in. So what we're going to do next here is let's go ahead and push the shadows way up. Maybe we'll dial that back just a bit. But now we've brought the shadows in here as well. So that's looking pretty good. Maybe we'll pull those shadows up just a little bit more. And while we're at it, I'm going to add some clarity to this. I'm just going to do +20. And do we need to do the dehaze here? I'm not quite sure. No, I do not like the results of the dehaze there, but we will do just a touch more saturation to this, maybe plus 10 here. And we're still operating on, let's go back to that mask number 2. And we're still operating on that one. So if we took the clarity down there, we softened it all the way up, but let's bring that clarity back up to plus 20 and maybe a little extra texture too, because there is a lot of texture out here as well. Also, I'm looking at this and maybe I'd like to warm this just a little bit, not a ton. There we go. That's looking pretty good to me. So in the end, let's go ahead and close that mask tool. We close the mask tool. We can zoom in here. There's the mask tool. Go ahead and close that up. Zoom this back out. And so if you didn't do a multi-bracketed shot, but you were shooting in RAW, bringing this into Lightroom, this is what we can achieve in just a couple of moments of time. Let's go ahead and hit the YY. So our starting point on the left-hand side, and our finish point where it is the majestic Grand Canyon after all on the right hand side. I'm going to go ahead and hit tab on that. And as I said, so I've been going through a lot of my old images and a lot of my new images, assembling this new Lightroom class. It's a quick start Lightroom class for beginners, but we'll get you up and operating with a properly set up Lightroom catalog. We'll talk about importing images. Then we'll talk about the interface of Lightroom overall. And then a lot of the rest of the class is just trying different scenes and different scenarios and seeing what Lightroom can do for us, whether it's for our drone photography business or for our own photographic fun. Lightroom has a lot of options for you here to really improve your images quickly and easily. So stay tuned to the channel. Be sure to like and subscribe down below. And when we announce that new class over at AZ Drone's Teachable site, classes.azdrone.net, we'll be giving you a notification, and we'll also be giving out some coupons to our longtime subscribers as well. I hope you enjoyed this one. It was a quick one, but I've been having a lot of fun looking back through my old catalogs and assembling this class with both old images and new images. And even with the old images, you can actually you can go a long way in Lightroom, even if you shot it quite a while ago. See y'all again real soon. Have a great week.